Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Well, LA District Number 4 is one of the most unusually shaped districts in Los Angeles, from Koreatown, Mid-Wilshire, Sherman Oaks, Miracle-While. It's a very eclectic council district, and the newest member of the LA Council, as well as the first woman to represent Council District 4, is here with us today. I'm delighted to have with me Nithya Raman. So wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me today.
One of the challenges, and it's definitely been top of mind and definitely been something that you are focusing on very sincerely, is homelessness. So where do things stand at this moment in time?
When the city has responded to homelessness in the past, what has happened in LA is that there's been 15 different approaches under 15 different council districts. There are no walls between my district and another district, and especially with my district, with how weird and, you know, I border with so many other districts. And I think having that coordinated approach is absolutely essential. One of the things that we're doing right now is that we are partnering actively with Council District 2 in the Valley to actually take on some of the challenges related to encampments that are not just near those borders, but are actually on those borders exactly. And to say, what can we contribute from District 4, what can we contribute from District 2? And I'm hoping that we can do that not just with Council District 2, but with all of the council districts that we border. But I think more importantly, we need a citywide approach. We need to think about this issue as not just every council member doing their own thing, but really to have a process that we follow across the city. That kind of coordinated, thoughtful, citywide approach, that's really something that we're pushing for from our office.
Well, and I do need to ask you, based on that citywide approach, there was a vote taken, and you were one of 2 dissenting votes in regards to what was going to happen with specific areas that encampments needed to be removed from or moved from. Why did you choose to vote against, knowing full well that the majority of the council was feeling one way? And the mayor has since signed. And then how can you work with everybody after?
So I think the reason I voted against that particular ordinance, or the version of the ordinance that was being put forward at this moment, was exactly because of this 15 different approaches version. The way the ordinance is structured now, it's based on an action of an individual council member to identify areas or encampments for intervention. And to me, that's exactly the wrong approach. As I said earlier, we need to be thinking about how we prioritize as a city, not every council member for their own. And so for me, that vote was really a vote for better. I want better policies. I want more thoughtful policies. And I know we can have them here. I know all 15 of us can get together and talk about it and get it right. I did not feel that this version was it.
Has anyone actually walked up and done a person-to-person, what is it that you want your life to look like off the streets? And what are you willing to do to make this happen? Instead of the outside coming in telling everyone what to do, you know, how can we help you? What is it that you want? What are we doing that you don't want us to do? What is it that you're willing to do in partnership with us to make this road move towards a better life for you and for the entire city?
Thank you for that question. I think that question really speaks to why I think outreach is such an essential component of how we move us towards actually ending homelessness in Los Angeles. Because I think it is exactly that kind of ability to ask an individual what they need and trying to match them with the resources that they need that will actually help us get out of this crisis. When you have someone who says, I really, really want to go inside, but I have my partner with me, and I've never been offered a facility where I can stay with my partner, that's when you can find them that location that will get them off the street. When you have someone who says, I would really love to go inside, but I have my support animal that I've had with me for years, that has helped me through thick and thin, then the outreach worker can actually find a place where they can take that support animal with them. And I think that is the kind of fine-grained work that we absolutely need to be doing in order to address this crisis.
So you're new to the council, but that's not the fact that you are new to very dramatic and overwhelming issues that are not just here in Los Angeles, but in the world. You spent several years in India. You were really focused on taking looks at areas that may or may not be recognized to the rest of the world, with, you know, in Delhi and Chennai. What did you see there in terms of social problems, people in poverty that you learn from, or that you realize that our problems are much more solvable? What did you learn there that you bring to the table?
Yeah, so I worked in Delhi and in Chennai for many years. I worked on urban poverty issues. So I've worked on urban poverty issues for almost my entire career. And so there is that linkage going from one place to the other. But I think there's also ways of thinking about these issues that I think I've brought from one context into another. One of the reasons that I worked in India in the way that I did, so I'm an urban planner by training, and a lot of the work that I did in India was about getting accurate data about slums, about informal settlements where there were no access to basic services like running water or toilets. And one of the reasons why I really pushed for accurate mapping, for community surveys, for tools that could identify those needs was because I knew that with better data, with visibility for those communities, that their needs could be taken into account by municipal governments there. In a way, that push to think about whose voices are not being heard or which data is not being considered really was the push behind me running for office in the first place.
Well, along with the problems, the challenges, and the work, there are some really fun things that are part of your district. You have a lot of the tourist destinations too. So how are things, outside of the long haul issues? How are things in the district at large, and what are some of the other things that you're celebrating or working on?
Well, so one of the things I'm really excited about now is that people are having block parties again, people are having summer events again, and I'm hoping that we can keep doing those, especially the outdoor events. And so I've been really, really excited to be able to attend neighborhood block parties and tree giveaways at farmers markets and things that actually bring the community together now that it's actually safer to do that, especially outside. I'm also really excited that we do have a number of these really big tourist attractions, particularly in the mid-city area. We have LACMA, which is undergoing this big renovation. We also have, in that same location, the Purple Line coming in. And so we're going to see really big changes in that part of the city that are going to invite so many more people into it and that are really going to transform, I think, how those neighborhoods feel as gateways into Los Angeles. And I'm really, really excited to be partnering with all of those big institutions and with Metro to say, let us build a future here in these neighborhoods that reduces the need for cars to be coming into it, that limits traffic, and that really enables people to access these spaces on foot, on train, and really thrive in those spaces.
All right, so my last question, 6 months in, a little over 6 months.
Yeah.
Is it what you expected, different than what you expected, more than what you expected, or as you expected?
I think because I came in during COVID, and because I came in during a very unique time in Los Angeles history, the mayor just announced that he's taking another job even before his term is up. I think that this moment is a really special one in LA. I don't think I could have envisioned what it would be like. But I will say that I turned 40 last week on Wednesday. And
well, happy birthday, and congratulations on admitting it.
Thank you. And I will say that I woke up in the morning and really felt so humbled and privileged to be doing this work at this time, because there is really no greater privilege than being able to serve Los Angeles and to be able to serve my constituents in this way. There's nothing better.
Wow, fascinating. And if people want to get more information about what you're doing and let their voice be heard, whether they live inside or outside Council District 4, or what things are happening, how can they get in touch?
You can follow us on social media. We have accounts for both the district, and I also maintain a pretty active social media presence, so you can follow me on any of those accounts. And we have our website, which is councildistrict4.lacity.org, where you can get linked up to all of those accounts as well.
All right. Well, best of all things. It's not an easy road, but you seem to be very motivated to walk it, so congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you again for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks. And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.